Hey guys, Anna here. Welcome to today's video. Today we're in the world of Oasis Springs and we're building a modern contemporary 2x1 bedroom family home. This is a nice little small home that I saw on Pinterest and I really liked the simplicity of the floor plan, which is what I'm starting with, because it was essentially just two rectangles that were, parallel side by side, and it had this really nice undercovered porched area. And I thought that in Oasis Springs that would be the best world to place this lot in, purely because with the weather in Oasis Springs, it's warm and you could be out on the deck and you can have, you can entertain and you can sit and you can chill, or you could put a bar out there. And I definitely felt that this would be the type of home that you could have that, more like an entertainer's home, even like a bachelor or something. The only thing that I really struggled with this particular build was the roof line. So I tried to mimic the roof line in the photo as much as I saw I could, but in the end I really did struggle with it. I did kind of tweak it a little, but yeah. Also the coloring, the thing is with Oasis Springs, and this is probably why I don't build a lot in Oasis Springs, is the lighting is terrible. Colors don't look how they look in the catalog. You'll have blues that come across more green. You'll have a brown that comes across as like a rust color, rusty red, and things just don't translate well. And I really struggled with the exterior wallpaper for this reason. I wanted to use different materials, like I wanted to have some stone and I wanted to have some stucco or some sliding, and I really just struggled with the colors. I felt that it looked a little bit too burnt and like the dirt as opposed to something that was quite contemporary. I wanted something that was more modern contemporary as opposed to industrial. And I think the inspiration that I'd seen on Pinterest, the home was, I think, a little bit more mid-century, and that's why it had the quirky layering of the roofs, and it looked better in the photo than in Sims. Sometimes it's hard to translate, real life builds off of into the Sims, just because things are very different. We don't have the same assets, we don't have a color wheel where we can manipulate the tones of things and whatnot. Anyway, we are very much inside. Okay, so I've kind of briefly worked out where the kitchen is. I am doing the living room. The living room is very simplistic in this home, and I really like that. I think with the furnishing of this home, I've kept it minimal and contemporary is definitely the goal. I really liked base game for the kitchen counters and a lot of the windows. This sliding door actually comes from Businesses and Hobbies, and I really enjoy it. It's not one that I use a lot. I think it is more aimed for community lots, but I really liked it in this home because it paired really well with the front door, which is also from Businesses and Hobbies. But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just like a fancier sliding door than what we have in the base game. Although the most recent sliding door we got in the base game, part of the update, the one that matches the windows and stuff, is still a good option, but I really liked this. All right, I use a lot of greenery in this home, but more greenery as opposed to like colored plants. I know we had one on the dining table that had a bit pink in it, and that is because there's a little bit of pink in the living room, so I was trying to pull from that. I did struggle with the wood tones that I wanted to use because I'm using a lot of the newer packs in this particular build. The wood tone is kind of like a cherry wood tone, and it doesn't match the wood tones that are found in all of the older packs. So I really struggled with that. So I had to change the color scheme of the build quite a lot. All right, we are now back into the kitchen portion of the living area, and I'm just cluttering up. I'm going through the clutter section of the catalog, and I'm just putting a ton of stuff. I love to use the recipe book from whatever pack. This one's from Home Chef Hustle, but they're in a couple of packs. And I've just paired it with, some stuff from the kitchen clutter kit and I've used these lemons. I think these come from Cool Kitchen Stuff, and they're just such a great decor piece. I actually think they work really well in more of a modern contemporary kitchen because it's in just like a glass container as opposed to like a fruit bowl, which I definitely gives off more family vibes to me. So I really enjoyed that. I do put in a kettle. This one was part of the bonus content that you got when if you purchased Adventure Awaits by a certain time. I like the fact that it's sleek and metal. It's nicer than the kettles we got with For Rent when kettles came into the game. They are a little bit more well, one's very, well, I guess one is modern. And then the other one is just like, it's the same swatch as what the original base game kitchen set is. And that's kind of not what we want in this vibe. Anyway, we are back to the entranceway. So I kind of started with the living area, which is just obviously the right side of the build, and then back to the entryway. You have this beautiful console buffet table, which I believe works as a functional bookcase. And this comes from, I think it's the Comfy Kish kit, and it's beautiful, very sleek, very modern. I like it because it's not too wide, like the cupboard isn't too wide. So it's really good for an entryway where you don't want to take up a lot of space because your Sims can still move and whatnot around there. I also put in like an ottoman. It's not like a proper ottoman. I think it's actually meant to be a table, but I've kind of made it into like a faux ottoman with some cushions. It's kind of like a focal point when you walk into the house. I think it's quite nice to have that there, totally for design, but Sims probably will sit on it or do something with it. Okay, so this is a 2x1, but if I'm being completely honest, the second bedroom, this child's room that we're doing right now, is tiny. When I play The Sims, my Sims don't really use their bedrooms other than sleeping. So I do think this is still a functional space, but this is normally the size of what I would do at bathroom. So it's very tiny, but the bathroom in this build is, I think, a little bit the same size as this room. So either or, it didn't matter where the child's room was. And I just thought that, I mean, you could have made this into the bathroom and have all of the bedrooms further down the hall, but I did it this way. Either or. This room doesn't really have a theme. I just tried to put in some children's stuff, and I love this bed. It comes from Eco Lifestyle. It's a bed that I don't use a lot of, but I should use more because it's modern, but it has some textures like a blanket, and it's like got ruffles on it, and I just really like it. All right, so we are back outside and I'm just finalizing the exterior. I decided to make like an undercover carport. And the reason I did this is because I didn't have stairs that are front facing on the porch area. The stairs are towards the back, and you obviously enter through the property for the undercover area. So I thought, why not make it a carport? And then that would make a little bit more logistical sense to why there isn't stairs there. So we end up putting just a faux car, and I kept the greenery really simple. I ended up putting these shrubs right up against where the carport is so that there's no gap, so that it just looks like it's very intentional. We do have a side gate, so I do end up putting a path to this side gate, and then where that gate is, you have one of the built-in hot tubs that we got in from Adventure Awaits, and I just really liked that hot tub in this home because it felt like this is the type of build that would have that. It's very sleek, it's very modern. I just love this build for that, and I definitely think that if you were playing with a small family or even just one sim, this would be like the perfect home. You definitely could. I've just sized up some ferns, used some cypress trees, and then just some basic base game furnishings, landscaping, because we are in a base game world. So yeah, just move the shrub ever so slightly. I will be adjusting those rocks so that they're not in the way. And yeah, and I've also really thought the The decking. The decking that we have used in this build is from Adventure Awaits, and it is perfect. I've also used the pathing that comes from Adventure Awaits. That's what we're using here. But I think that decking really elevated this look. It definitely gave it to more of a modern vibe. Kind of, as opposed to being like a cabin-like, it added the texture of, you've got like a wooden sliding and then you've got like a wooden deck, and it's just what I think of like a veranda or a porch that you're wanting to entertain in. You want something a little bit more manicured, and I really liked how that looked. Very simple backyard. I do put in a bit of seating and potentially a barbecue, and then and then I just put in a bench. This one comes from Backyard Stuff, and then Perfect Patio is where the chairs and table come from with the umbrella. That's a very modern set. We also got hot tubs with that stuff pack, and yeah, lovely. I love these outdoor lounges. I've used them a couple of times in a couple of builds. These are from Get Together actually, and I love the popper color, the blue and the yellows. We've used a lot of blue and yellow throughout the build, and I decided to use the 1 tile wide bar object, and I think that this is brilliant for this space because I didn't want to have a bulky bar item, but just having a 1 tile wide, it's all you need. It's completely functional, and I like it. I put in a speaker, and I'm just trying to find some like outdoor plants that kind of fit the vibe. I do end up putting an ottoman out here, I believe, and I think that's because sometimes I like to play with pets, and I like the idea of like having an ottoman for a dog to lay on or a cat to chill on, or, you know, just further seating for my Sims. All right, I'm going around just finalizing the landscaping, putting dirt under all of the flowers and whatnot, and just touching everything up so that it looks all good. But yeah, this is essentially the build in entirety. It's not, we do still have the master bedroom to do. I do jump around a lot when I build. If you would like to play in this particular house, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. My gallery ID is Antoinette.44. It is in the description below if you'd like. Along with all my other builds, at the moment I am just releasing a build a week here on the channel, but I do build a lot. And if you look on my gallery, it's kind of a sneak peek as into what I build, because obviously what I build and then when it comes on the channel, there's a little bit of a delay. So you might be able to go on there and see what's to come. There's a lot of exciting stuff on there. I love this master bedroom. So I started with the business and hobbies bed in this beautiful kind of teal, almost navy color. Paired it with these deep chocolate browns. This rug comes from the West African base game update that we got. And pairing it just with an ottoman. And I just love this room. I've used the standard wallpaper for the rest of the house. I don't believe that I change it. I've used Life and Death for the dresser, and I'm just going around with some furnishings that are quite modern. I've gone in with my favorite freestanding mirror in the game, which is from Jungle Adventure. I have used these chunky kind of outdoor wall lights. I've never used these, and they kind of have more of an industrial feel, but they work so well in this build. I'm so happy to have used them, and I think that they really elevate the space, and they kind of add a little bit of dimension to the area. I've just copied the painting from the hallway, changed the swatch to kind of match the rest of the color scheme of the bedroom. The front porch needed something, so I pulled the chess table from the hallway, moved it outside. We will be putting a desk because I did realize I didn't have a computer in this build, and I like to have a computer in every single one of my builds just because I feel like in gameplay a computer is more important than a TV when it comes to The Sims. So yeah, I'm adding in that ottoman. I had to size down the one that came from Perfect Patio. It just was a little bit bulky, and I didn't want to take away the space for like Sims to walk in that area. Just adding a few more of those outdoor lights, and then I'll be adding in the desk. So I've gone in with a desk that comes with Lovestruck. I love this desk. It is also the same in the same kind of furniture set as the bedside tables from the master bedroom, which is just, you know, in proximity to that room. So I like to do that where I kind of pair items that are in close proximity with the same style. So yeah, just a laptop. Something about a laptop feels a little bit more modern than a chunky PC to me. I don't know. We do have the one from Sitting Living that's very modern though. This bathroom is beautiful. I love the navy paired with like the terracotta tiles. I think that was fantastic color choice. I've used the doors from Seasons. They're a little bit more of a simplistic door as opposed to just the base game ones, so that worked well. A lot of the sleek bathroom kit was used for the furnishing of this bathroom. The mirrors, of course, come from Business and Hobbies. These are my favorite mirrors in the game. I just think they're so elegant, so beautiful. And yeah, I managed to put in the freestanding showers. I don't really use these a lot, and I don't know why, I just don't. I've used the toilet from Tiny Living. It just looks a little bit more modern. And I've just put some basic furnishings, and yeah, very simplistic bathroom, but I love the color scheme. It's one of my favorites that I've done. And again, a lot of the stuff from the sleek bathroom kit. All right, we are live in game and we're just going around for the tour. So you enter in to a beautiful kind of like simplistic entryway. As I said, you've got that ottoman at the end. You head to the right of the build, you have your kitchen, which has a combination of base game. You've got Home Chef Hustle, you've got cool kitchen stuff, you've got Business and Hobbies. I love this dream home decorated dining table. It's beautiful in the same wood tones paired with a lot of the Business and Hobby stuff. We then head back to the left side of the build. You then have that very small child's room. Just has everything you kind of need. You have that improv study nook, you have your bathroom that we just furnished, and you have your master bedroom, which is a beautiful space. Really large bedroom in this build. Okay, so you head down the hall back to where the living room is, into that sliding door that gives you access to the side porch, I guess. You have your little bar entertaining area, place to sit, and then you have the hot tub and your grill, more of your entertaining space that I do in every other build. And that is the build today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed today's build, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.